Hi everyone, I'm here with Basha and her cats, and I have an announcement to make. If you didn't happen to notice that I posted this news on the community page, it's sad news, let me just warn you. Heidi was euthanized on Friday, and it was totally unexpected and quite shocking. So what happened was, on Wednesday morning, I woke up to her vomiting, which is not unusual, but after about the fourth vomit, she suddenly collapsed and was open-mouthed breathing and had trouble getting breath. And, I instantly thought getting her to the vet, and right after that I thought, she's not going to make it. So I just got her settled in a spot, got my hands on her, tried to get her calm and relaxed, which I did. She got relaxed. And after doing that for maybe 2 hours and realized that she was pretty stable through that time, I got her to the vet. They did a bunch of tests. An ultrasound showed that there was a mass on her liver. Also, her kidney values went up pretty significantly. And this is all after her June wellness exam showed that everything was great. All her blood work was great. Everything was great. Everything at home was great. She kept improving, and every week there was some new thing to report that showed her progress. The last thing that was really significant for me was that her playtime, she was playing with a lot more vigor and for longer periods. And it just came out of nowhere one day. She just kept playing and playing and playing. And I had this wonderful little furry mouse on an elastic cord, and I could make it do things where it seemed to be alive, and she just took more interest in it than usual, was running around, and with the greatest of ease. I mean, she had no problems. You'd never imagined that this girl 2.5 years ago was hobbling around with some pretty bad arthritis. But that's something I've been working on the whole time. So it was a real shock to me, especially because of where she had been just before. Really, she went from here to here in an instant. It was that fast. The morning before, Tuesday, I had shot that video of me massaging her, and I posted it that morning. It was on the 9th, Tuesday the 9th, and she was happy and she was purring, and then the next morning, everything changed in an instant. So I think my vet was fairly hopeful that I could get her to regain some of her energy and interest, and it didn't happen. I did everything I could, and she just wasn't going anywhere. She looked like she was feeling pretty awful, not in pain, because then I would have taken action, of course. She wasn't in pain, probably uncomfortable, but I think just feeling generally really crappy. Even with a shot of Serenia, which is uh, a medication for nausea, and nothing was helping. So I reported that to the vet. She said, this is not good. And I kept her for another day, maybe hoping for some improvement, but I kind of knew what was inevitable. And I just, her last 2 days, I just held her a lot, made her just so comfortable, and then Friday afternoon, Basha accompanied me to the vet, and we had a very peaceful passing. Very peaceful. And that's where we are. So it's been rough. I've had a rough time. It's been very difficult to deal with. Didn't expect it at all. Come on, Foggy, come on. Here we go. The way she was going, I kind of took things for granted and assumed that I would continue to see even more progress, and that I'd have her for another 2 or 3 years at least. That was the appearance. And we can't always go by that, unfortunately. This does happen. And even the vet said that this can happen. We can go from here to here in an instant. And that's what it was with Heidi. The experience of adopting her and her shelter mate, Dinah, was educational for me. It just did me a lot of good. I had these plans to do this, to go to shelters and look for a cat that maybe was in the shelter for a long time, needed help, could use my specific help with my hands, and went around New York City to the shelters looking, and I finally found it at Humane Society. Dinah at the time was, I think she was 14 at the time, and had lived at the shelter all her life. And Heidi was at the shelter for 10 years. She had a home. Her guardian had a stroke, could not take care of her. The family returned Heidi to Humane Society. And then I came along. It was just such a wonderful experience. Dinah was about 1.5 years older than Heidi, and was like a 2-year-old cat. And the way she played and the way she loved, she was young. She was a young 14 years old, whereas Heidi was an old 13-year-old. And when I saw them, it's like, well, Dinah's doing pretty well. She had bad knees, for one thing, and she had surgery on both knees that Humane Society did in 2017. And she could run around easily. She had no problems at all. And Heidi really needed the support, and she got it, and she improved, just transformed, really, and into this cat that was more engaging and playful and alert, and just made me very happy to see their progress and to see the effectiveness of this work. And not that I needed any proof or any more cases to see this, because I've had plenty, but this time they were my own cats. And I could always be around them and massage them anytime and give them mini massages and just, care all the time. And they got it and they enjoyed it. And so that is a kind of bringing to close an end of this chapter in my career in animal healing and wellness. But there's another chapter coming up, and I will tell you all about that in another video. And I'm very excited about the prospect. As Foggy is very excited about it. But I will be letting you know about that very soon. So that's the news. Sorry to report it, but it happens to all of us. And as long as we can inject enough quality into our lives, the quantity is not so important. And I think especially with animals, and I think it's because they just so naturally live in the present moment. And for us humans, it's not so easy. We have to work at it. We're born living that way, but it gets knocked out of us. And it's great if we can get back to that. And I've always said, since I've been doing this for 17 years, a great way to help you get into the present moment is with creatures who are already there. I mean, look at this. It's the best way to bond with them, and they can just teach us so much about the present moment living. It does make it easier. So there we are. So again, you'll hear about my plans very soon, and I'm very excited about them, and I've got a lot of support for it. So stay tuned. Thank you, everyone.